Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ariana, but you can call me Ari. And today I want to share with you all the books that I have read recently between the month of April and May. I haven't read a whole lot in these past couple months. It's been a busy season. Things are starting to slow down just a little bit for me, so hopefully I'll have more time to spend doing something that I truly enjoy, and that is reading and sharing all of those books with you. The choices are varied, and I think it's a testament to how much of a mood reader I actually am. I also think sometimes what we choose to read within a month can often reflect like what we're dealing with and like what's going on. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't do that anyway. So let's get started with the first one, which is called Blob, and it's a love story by Maggie Su. When I first picked this book up, I was like, yes, I love weird, I love grotesque, I love strange. The synopsis of this book and the cover itself drew me in. It's very modern. It came out in January of this year, and it's about a woman named V who has just gone through a breakup. She has also dropped out of college, and she's pretty much the black sheep of her family. She also works as a hotel desk receptionist. So her life is pretty mundane. She's pretty messy. She's pretty awkward. She's pretty human. She one day walks out of a bar and she is met with a blob. And the blob intrigues her because she realizes it's actually alive, and she essentially ends up taking this blob home. She takes care of the blob. The blob is then named Bob, and Bob is in love with cereal, and he grows eyes, and she can just tell him to grow an arm, and he does, and he learns how to become a human being through watching television and reality and wrestling, and over time she pretty much creates a boyfriend, and Bob is a then full functioning human being. I wouldn't say full functioning. Socially, he's he struggles in the social department, but it's interesting because as he grows to become human, he starts to get curiosity for life. He starts to want to like wander the streets and meet people, and V is all like, that's not a good idea. You're not even a real person. Why would you want to do that? And so he starts to like grow away from her and develops his own friend groups. And it's so interesting because when he has conversations, they're not even really conversations. It's clear that he is not able to process or understand what people are saying to him. But even so, it seems like he becomes the normal one, and then V becomes the abnormal one, the outcast. And so he essentially ends up leaving her for her coworker, Rachel, and I think they end up getting married. And yeah, that's that's most of the story in a nutshell. It sounds weirder than it's written, right? So this is a debut novel. I think this author may have one other work out, but this is like the most popular novel that they have at this time. And I think if I were to say what this could be about, I feel like it has a lot to do with like what it means to be a human. What is humanism? What makes a person? And like how surface level does it need to be for us to be human? Like what makes us who we are as people? It's kind of surreal, it's kind of absurd, but what I feel is happening is that the author like only went about 30% in any direction, if that makes sense. So I feel like she would give us something absurd, like a scene would be absurd, like, ooh, here we go, it's about to get weird. And then as soon as you think it's going to, it pulls back. And so there was a lot of like, I felt like we could have gone further. I think this book had really great potential. I am interested in seeing what else this author does because I think Maggie has a unique voice. I just think if we're gonna go there, go there. And if we're not gonna go there, that's totally fine. Like if we're gonna try to make this as normal seeming as possible, that's also an angle. But I think whatever angle we choose, it needs to be a little stronger for me. We're gonna move on now to The Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Roffey. And this is a book that was recommended to me a couple years back when I was in a writer's club, and we were just sharing books that impacted us, and a woman mentioned this, and I immediately wrote it down. I looked it up and I was like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. And so two years later, here I am. I've read it. And this book is essentially about Caribbean mythology. It has to do with colonialism. There's romance, there's betrayal, there's poetry. It's beautifully written. Let's just get into the story real quick. So basically what happens is there's a mermaid in this of Black Conch, and she is attracted to this fisherman because he sings a beautiful song that reminds her of her own home, her own people, her own ancient history. And so she comes to him and she visits him whenever she hears his boat, and he'll sing to her. And one day she hears a boat that she thinks is his, but actually isn't. It's actually some American colonists that are coming to fish in these waters, and they end up catching her. And so they catch her and they string her up in the town, and they are debating on what to do with her, whether they want to sell her. They pretty much degrade her, and they go into the pub, they get drunk. And then while that's happening, the fisherman sees her strung up, and he cuts her down. He takes her into his home and starts to take care of her. And the white people are like, what happened? Where is the mermaid? She was worth a lot. Who did this? And so all the while he's with her, and he puts her in this bathtub, and slowly she becomes a human. She starts to have feet, she grows limbs, she starts to learn the language, and all the while there's this kind of romance that's been developing between them. What I do enjoy is that it's very patient. The love is patient, the love is kind. It does feel mutual. It sounds hard to believe considering she's been a mermaid for centuries and she's been banished to this life. Also, yes, it's a curse. So she's a mermaid because she was cursed by these women who thought her beauty was just too much. She was pulling all the menses, and they were like, no, we rebuke that. We banish you. You are going to be a mermaid for eternity. And so, yes, there's a romance that festers, and it's just like this slow burn of a romance. And she's learning life, she's learning desire, she's learning what love is, she's reminded of her people. He never pushes her too far, it feels right, except for the fact that she is cursed. And so this curse has followed her. She is like, there are all kinds of like crazy weather patterns happening. There are fish falling from the sky. There are terrible storms. And it's clear that she can't stay. Like, the world is upside down, and she has to go back to being a mermaid, and she does, and that's pretty much it. Like, they're never together again. It's a blip, and she gets to go back to being a mermaid, and he goes on about his life. There's more to this story. There are other characters, and there are other plot lines that are happening. The one thing I'll say about this story is that it did feel a little repetitive. I felt like there were moments where I was like, okay, like, keep going. But overall, it's just beautiful, enchanting. There's romance, but there's also like a lot of awesome history and interesting mythology, and the writing is just so good. Some of it is in broken English, but like, I think it's so tastefully aware and tastefully done that it's like, yes, like, it makes sense, and it puts you in an atmosphere, it puts you in a place, and it makes you feel like you're on this island. And I think this is a great read if you are going to be on an island. Okay, summertime. The next one we're going to talk about is A Family Affair by Su Nyathi. This is a family saga. It is thick, honey, and I've had this on my shelf for a couple years now since last year when I went to Africa. I picked up this book, and it's so good. I like marked so many. Yes, I bend the pages of my own books. Yes, but it's it's just it's everything. It's giving you culture, it's giving you matriarch, it's giving you patriarch, it's giving you religion, it's giving you family dynamics, it's giving like what happens to a woman when she's pushed to the breaking point. It's giving anything you can think of that can happen within a family saga happens, and it's so good. It just, I sometimes when I'm reading a book, I'm looking back and thinking, or I'm looking forward and like, okay, how many pages I got left? Okay, I got 100 pages. All right. Like this one, I didn't even care. Like I just wanted it to keep going on and on and on. I could have read 500 more pages of this family story. And this specifically takes place, I think it's in Bulawayo. Yes, it is following the Mafus family, an affluent family of the church in the community of Bulawayo. And we follow the lives of four daughters with their own unique spirit and their own familial struggles. So there's one that's dealing with a very abusive marriage. There's one that isn't married and is feeling the pressure to get married. There's one that's having children out of wedlock. There's one that's living at home. There's one that has a secret child. There's so much going on. And then there's also just how the culture and the religion, how they function, but also how these women are growing up, and some of them under that modern pretense. And so there's like that like pushback of like, well, I want to be independent, I want to work, I want to do this, and the men are like, well, no, that's not what happens, that's not how we do this. And so finding your own voice and like, it's tragic, it's beautiful, it's sad, it's about healing, it's about so much. I was so enamored by these characters' stories, and I learned a lot more about the Black African experience. I think there's something to say, again, I'll always say that fiction is so important because fiction builds empathy, and it also helps you to engage with factual information. So, for example, there are things that I know about African culture and certain African cultures, but when applied to a specific story or a specific character, you get to really see how that dynamic actually functions, and it actually builds a sense of empathy and depth and awareness, because not only is it facts by numbers or facts by just like, you know, historical information, but now you're getting like how it looks applied to lives of human beings and real people, if that makes sense. Like we could read all we want about like the literal history of, but when you apply that to like and zoom in on a specific family or a specific style of living and in a story, I think it just really, fiction really rounds out the rough edges of history, if that makes sense. I highly recommend you pick up A Family Affair because, ooh, girl, it was so good. Okay, the last one I want to talk about, you probably saw it sitting here in a corner, is Bunny by Mona Awad. This book will pull you in and you won't even know what's happening. Like when I first started reading this book, I was like, what is going on? There was a point where I was like, I'm not gonna finish this. This is ridiculous. This is too far out of the scope of like anything that I can fathom. And I kept reading. I was like, no, Ari, you're gonna push through this because there's something here keeping you. There's a reason why you're here. And I kept reading, and then I was like, oh my God, I get it. Oh my God, I get it. And so this book is essentially, what was the girl's name? Samantha. Samantha is at an MFA writing program, and she is amongst a cohort of bunnies. They all move and think as one. They're a group of girls that are also in this writing program, and they just like act, think, speak, live, feel as one. It's a cult. And so it's funny because the commentary is on these programs. It's on the pretentious, serving attitude that these programs can have, and like how superficial you hear it in, like they have these writing feedback circles, and it's just so hilarious to I don't have my MFA, but I do have a BFA, and I have friends who have MFAs or are going through an MFA or whatever, and it's just there's so much truth to this, and and it feels so specific, and so there's that aspect of it. There's also like this there's theories about Samantha's mental, like, is she hallucinating? Is she schizophrenic? Is like, I don't know, but I think that we certainly have an unreliable narrator. We certainly have an unreliable perspective, and basically, like, what happens is that their writings come to life, and their characters become like sacrifice, and it's like it gets more grotesque and outlandish as the stories go on, and like it's about Samantha learning how to break that spell and come into her own person, and I don't know, it's there's so much. You'll get like Mean Girls vibes, maybe even Heather's vibes. There are definitely some tropes that are pulled from like other tropes in writing, but it's great. It's great. It's not for everyone. No book I mention is for everyone. That would just be insane. There's something out there for everyone, but this may not be for you. I'm definitely going to read the second book because, yeah, it just once I was like in on the joke, I felt like, oh, I get it. Like, I get at least part of where the author is coming from. And it's weird, and it drives through all the way. Something that I think that this book has that this book didn't is that it committed. It committed to the bit. Whether or not you like it is not the book's business. It's your business, because this book really went for it. It it was consistent, and like not even consistent, it just built. It kept getting bigger and growing on itself as it went. This one I felt like it was more disjointed, and it didn't serve. It wasn't giving all that I feel like it could give. So like if we're talking about weirdness, I think this book really pushes that boundary, where this one could definitely go a little further. So yeah, those are the books that I've read recently. I'm really quickly gonna share with you what I'm currently reading, and that is Educated by Tara Westover. I am really early on in this novel. I think I'm not even 30 pages in, but I'm obsessed. It's so good. It's a memoir about the importance of education, and like how this author grew up without formal education, wasn't even recognized in the school system, never went to school, doesn't have a birth certificate, and then it's also about mental health and education, and again, only 30 pages in. This is just based off of what I have so far, but wow. I'm really loving this book. And then another one that I'm going to be reading, because it's a part of a book club that my job is doing. My cat has the zoomies right now. he's losing his marbles. So The Reformatory is a novel that I'm reading as part of a book club that my job is doing. I started this book, was it last year? And I stopped because it was, y'all, it's a lot. Like, I think I was about 100 pages in, maybe a little less, and I was like, I need a break. So I stopped reading it, and I think it's time. It's a big boy. It's about a little over 500 pages. I think I'm going to get started on it very, very soon, if not today, as soon as I'm done filming this video. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I also finished Monday's Not Coming. I will talk to y'all about that video. I will talk to y'all about that book soon, very soon, because I'm still processing my experience. And the experience is mixed right now, but I'm still processing it. So I'm not ready to give you my thoughts yet, but I will soon. So yeah, that's everything. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. Oh, this video is also going up as soon as I finish editing it, which is probably Friday. or Saturday when you're getting this video. And I normally lately have been uploading on Wednesdays. I don't know, I'm just playing around and experimenting, and I also feel like it's been a month since I've uploaded, so I'm just gonna get this video out as soon as I possibly can, so there is something, my cat's losing it, so there is something out there so that you know that I'm still here and I'm still present in this community. So yeah. That's that on that. Thank y'all so much for watching this video, for your continued support. Please do like this video. Not only does it make my heart super duper happy, but it also tells the algorithm that I'm doing something right, and it will recommend my video to more like-minded viewers like yourself. So I do appreciate your support. Please let me know what books you're reading this summer, what's on your radar, how are you doing on your reading goals, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.